Welcome back to Dr. Healthy Hub. What if the reason you feel exhausted, anxious, foggy, and emotionally drained has nothing to do with laziness or aging, and everything to do with one powerful stress hormone silently taking control of your body?
Most people think they can simply relax their way out of chronic stress. But the truth is, when your cortisol levels stay elevated for too long, your body becomes trapped in survival mode, and no amount of rest alone can fully fix it. The foods you eat every single day directly affect the signals your brain sends to your adrenal glands, influencing your energy, sleep, mood, metabolism, and even your ability to think clearly. And if you ignore that internal chemistry, you may continue feeling tired, overwhelmed, irritable, gaining stubborn weight, and struggling to feel like yourself again. But here's the good news. Certain foods have been shown to naturally calm the nervous system and help lower cortisol levels. In today's video, you'll discover 5 powerful foods that may help reduce stress hormones, support your brain, and finally help your body step out of survival mode. Make sure you watch until the end, because some of these foods might already be sitting in your kitchen right now.
I know exactly how it feels to have runaway cortisol, and I've helped many people get to the root cause of chronically elevated levels. But before we dive into the functional foods that'll help you break the stress cycle, it's important to understand the chaos that high cortisol is creating in your body. Here is how we're going to break it all down so you can finally get some relief. Let's start with a reality check. How do you actually know if you have high cortisol? Believe it or not, your stress response system is one of the most powerful and influential systems in your entire body. It impacts pretty much everything you've got, and not always in a friendly or helpful way.
You might be dealing with things that feel like separate, random issues, but they're often all connected to this one hormone. I'm talking about hot flashes and night sweats that ruin your sleep. I'm talking about heart palpitations, or even bouts of dizziness and vertigo that make you feel like the world is spinning. Maybe for you, the symptoms are primarily in your gut. You're dealing with chronic constipation, or perhaps the opposite, diarrhea, cramping, and that constant uncomfortable bloating after you eat. You might notice poor circulation in your hands and feet, always feeling cold, even when it's warm out. But the biggest telltale sign is the sleep. It's that tired but wired feeling.
You're exhausted all day, but then you wake up in the middle of the night with your mind racing and you can't get back to sleep. Then there's the weight gain, specifically in the belly area, that doesn't seem to respond to exercise, and a feeling that your memory and focus just aren't what they used to be. If that sounds like your life, you aren't just stressed. You are likely stuck in survival mode. So what exactly is cortisol, and what is it doing to create such a mess? Cortisol is a hormone produced by what we call the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal glands. It's your body's command center for responding to stressors.
Now, you're probably thinking, okay, if it's a stress hormone, then high levels are caused by too much stress. And you'd be right. But here's the critical part that most people miss. Your body treats all stress the same. It doesn't distinguish between a deadline at work and a chronic gut infection. We always think about the mental and emotional stressors, the teenagers, the bills, the traffic, but the physical stressors, the ones that don't involve our thoughts or feelings, are often the ones that really keep us stuck. I'm talking about your neurology, your immune system, and your gut health. These physical stressors aren't always given their due, but they're constantly signaling your brain that you're under threat.
Your body interprets this constant stress as a threat to your actual survival. This is why your stress response also involves adrenaline. It's trying to keep you safe and alive. It kicks you into fight, flight, or freeze mode. That's a great system if you're facing a temporary emergency. The problem is that most of us live a huge percentage of our lives in this on state.
we never come back to baseline. When you stay in this chronic stress state, your body keeps cranking out cortisol. Over time, that becomes incredibly inflammatory and degenerative. It suppresses your immune system, making it harder for your body to heal. It raises your blood glucose, which can lead to insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes.
It can even cause depression that's completely independent of your serotonin levels. It literally shifts your brain chemistry and your sleep cycle until you're left in a state of total exhaustion. Before we get into the solutions, we have to talk about how to know for sure if this is what's happening. If you suspect your cortisol is high, you might go for a blood test. But here's the problem. Unless your levels are so extreme that they indicate a rare disease like Addison's or Cushing's, a random blood draw isn't very helpful. Cortisol levels vary greatly throughout a normal sleep-wake cycle. It should be high in the morning to help you wake up, and low at night so you can sleep. A single blood draw is just a snapshot in time. It doesn't show the cortisol curve of your day. Some people use saliva testing, which helps visualize that curve. But even then, free cortisol can be deceiving. Many people with normal free cortisol levels still have extremely high overall cortisol production, or the reverse. To get the full picture, some people use a comprehensive at-home test called the Dutch Adrenal. It measures urine for cortisol metabolites. This helps show both free cortisol and overall production levels. It also measures DHEA, an adrenal hormone that helps produce reproductive hormones. Understanding this balance is the difference between guessing and actually having a plan. Now, let's talk about how to fuel your body to break the stress cycle. We aren't just picking random healthy foods. To lower cortisol, we're looking for 4 specific nutritional pillars that act like a mute button for your overactive stress response. First, we need foods high in healthy fatty acids, especially omega-3s. If you want to balance your hormones, fat is your friend. Healthy fats keep you feeling full, and more importantly, they level out your blood sugar. Stable blood sugar is the secret to avoiding those massive cortisol spikes and crashes. Second is magnesium. Magnesium is well established in research for calming the fight-or-flight response. It's also crucial for supporting healthy sleep, which is when your HPA axis finally gets a chance to reset. Third are polyphenols. These are compounds that lower oxidative stress and systemic inflammation. They also help lower fasting glucose. Certain polyphenols, specifically flavonoids, can even influence neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which may help reduce feelings of anxiety and depression often linked to high cortisol. Finally, we need fiber. When you eat enough dietary fiber, the bacteria in your gut ferment it into something called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. These provide fuel for your intestinal cells and play a massive role in the gut-brain connection. A randomized controlled trial in 2020 showed that people given just 1 dose of these short-chain fatty acids had a significantly lower cortisol spike when exposed to a stress trigger. Your gut health literally determines how well you handle stress. Let me introduce my top 5 powerhouse cortisol-lowering foods. Number 1 on the list is green tea. This is a powerhouse because it contains 3 specific things. First, it's loaded with polyphenols. Second, it contains L-theanine. Shortly after drinking it, L-theanine may begin naturally lowering cortisol levels. Third, it contains EGCG, which inhibits the enzyme that converts inactive cortisone into active cortisol. In a recent clinical trial, women with moderate stress drank green tea powder mixed with water every day. After several weeks, they saw significant reductions in stress, blood glucose, and cortisol levels, along with improved melatonin levels. They were less stressed and sleeping better simply from adding green tea to their routine. Next is fatty fish. Think salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These are some of the best sources of omega-3 fatty acids.
A double-blind study on nurses with clinical burnout found that omega-3s significantly reduced symptoms and lowered morning cortisol levels. Another study on teens with depression showed that morning cortisol decreased after several weeks of omega-3 supplementation. These healthy fats are essentially brain food that tells your body to relax and step out of stress mode. Now, these foods are a powerful long-term strategy, but some people need relief quickly. If you're looking for fast-acting ways to calm your nervous system, check out the next video on simple strategies that may help lower cortisol naturally. Number 3 is nuts, specifically almonds and pistachios. Almonds are naturally balanced for stress support. They are rich in monounsaturated fats that help stabilize blood sugar, and they're also high in magnesium. They also contain vitamin E, a powerful antioxidant that helps protect your nervous system from the damage linked to chronic stress.
Pistachios are just as powerful. They are a great source of vitamin B6, which your brain uses to produce GABA, a neurotransmitter known for its calming effects. Pistachios also contain anthocyanins and carotenoids that may help reduce oxidative stress associated with chronic anxiety. Number 4 is avocado. For anyone following a plant-based lifestyle, this is a superstar food. It's packed with healthy fats, fiber, and magnesium. Research suggests that avocado oil may help protect cells against inflammation linked to elevated cortisol. It's a dense, nutrient-rich food that helps keep blood sugar stable and cortisol levels under control. Plus, it gives you another reason to enjoy guacamole.
And finally, number 5, dark chocolate. But there's a catch. It should contain at least 70% to 85% cocoa. Dark chocolate provides magnesium and is rich in polyphenols that help boost endorphins, your body's natural feel-good chemicals. In one study, participants who ate a small amount of high polyphenol dark chocolate daily experienced reductions in total cortisol levels and improved stress markers. It's one of the most enjoyable ways to support healthier stress hormones. Using food as medicine can be one of the most powerful ways to tell your body that it's safe and no longer stuck in survival mode.
But if you've been dealing with exhaustion, irritability, poor sleep, or constant stress for months or even years, it may be worth taking a deeper look at what's happening inside your body. If you want to stop guessing and better understand your cortisol patterns, some people choose comprehensive adrenal testing, like the Dutch adrenal test. It can provide a clearer picture of cortisol production and overall adrenal function. Check the description below if you'd like to learn more about this type of testing and how it may help you better understand your stress response. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.